Hello, 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 what's up? How is everyone doing? Welcome back to my channel. My name's Hannah. If you're new here, hi, hello. Today's video is going to be a bit of a catch up. We haven't had just like a vloggy style thing for a little while. You have my Christmas gift guide. If you haven't seen that, I'll put it up here. There will be another one coming in the next few days. Look out for those. There are also a couple more small businesses or like cruelty-free things like plant-based treat boxes and stuff in there in the second one, because I feel like I couldn't just stick to one. General catch up. There's a lot going on in the world. I've had a lot of DMs asking me like what I think about the election results, you know, all of this new stuff with the vaccine and all of that kind of thing. So I just thought I'd give you like a little life update and lowdown. First things first, if any of you are London based and you go past Park Royal Station, please follow me on my Instagram and take a picture, if you can, of the billboard that is outside of the station. It's the one that you can, it's like a big electric one. You can see it from the A40. It's about 200 metres from the tube station. If any of you are local and you have the time or you're walking past, please look out for it, because I am on a billboard. It's some work I did for Yours Clothing. It's only going to be up for a couple of weeks and I don't know if I will get to see it in person before it goes down. But it's like a Christmas themed shoot. I think I've got my arms in the air like, party season. And there's, yeah, there's baubles and stuff around me on a pink background. And it does say like Yours Clothing. So that's really cool. I see myself like on the internet. Obviously I post YouTube stuff, like I have lots of you that tag me in things or go, hey, I've spotted you in this magazine, like is this you? And that's really nice. And obviously I've done like been in shop windows and things like that, but I don't think I've had one billboard before this in my 15-year career, and so this to me is very exciting. So yeah, I wanted to share that with you. It's just something cool and weird. It's like still weird, but also I'm like, oh my god, it's a giant me. So I thought I would share that with you. Work is going really well. I just got approved for a new client, and so that's good. So hopefully that will be another set of regular work. I said yes to a load of like option dates through December, even like in and around Christmas, like quite close to, when other people probably would be like, nah, I'm not going in. Especially during COVID times. I know everyone's situation is different. However, I just feel like there are so many people that are really struggling at the moment that I feel like I should probably take all of the opportunities that are given to me, because there are many people that would like kill for that right now. And I know that's not necessarily always the way to think about it, but especially when you're self-employed, I think if you need a break, obviously you have to take a break, but especially during a time like this where it's uncertain, even though I know we have like the new hope for the vaccine and all of that kind of stuff, it's really important to think, okay, but why do I need that off? Like if we can't see family and friends, or that's not a time where I have something else booked in, or I really need that time off, then why would I not take the opportunity type thing? That's the attitude that I'm trying to have. Because for me, normally I'd be like, right, I really want 2 weeks off for Christmas, but actually if the work is there and with COVID and everything, I've been thinking, actually no, I'm gonna like cane it while it's there if I can. Like why would I not? And those options may or may not like get confirmed anyway. So I've also got some kind of like more exciting social bits and pieces coming up. I really want to get some ideas of what you guys want to see more on this channel. Like, do you prefer maybe like my Instagram and stuff, which is like getting a lot more kind of interaction and things, rather than just sticking to beauty? Would you prefer me to like throwing some beauty things in there, but also starting to talk about like topical discussions, like things that are in the news, opinions on things, maybe doing like a series like a big sister series or something? So like if you guys have like agony aunt style questions or something like that, maybe that's something to consider. I feel like I don't know everything, and I know that, but I feel like I have a lot of maybe experience or a different viewpoint to offer that I personally feel, obviously because I'm me and I'm biased, is a valuable one and a fairly level-headed one, but also I just have a lot of interest in all different kind of manner of topics, and I feel like I kind of want to spread my wings a little bit and talk about body image and talk about mental health more and talk about like politics a little bit. You know, I grew up in a household where like I was always pretty well read and things, but I didn't really have like a proper interest in politics until I was probably maybe like 23. 23. I'm now 27, I'll be 28 next May. But I did grow up in a household where it was always discussed a little bit. My dad has a degree in politics and international relations. He's very people orientated. Again, he's like left leaning. And I just want to get more into talking about things that I really care about. Like, even if people don't agree with me, I don't have an issue having an adult conversation with you guys in the comments, even if we have different views. You'll understand this in a second when I talk about the vaccine. It's one of those things that I want to kind of do, and I would like you guys to leave me some suggestions and stuff of things maybe you'd like me to discuss, or ideas that you have for the channel. Even if I get busy with work, hopefully my house move will be happening soon. Please, everything crossed, because this is like the 4th or 5th house now, and you know, you just have this fear because it's gone wrong so many times. That's how I'm feeling, and I need it to happen. So yeah, it will be much easier next year because me and Jay will both have like a spare, like an office space. Leave me your ideas down below. News and things, election stuff. You guys know very clearly, especially if you follow me on Instagram, how I feel about Trump. However, even I have been slightly surprised at the handling of all of the voter fraud scenario. It's honestly just the most disgusting, undemocratic, embarrassing behaviour I have ever seen. It undermines the foundation of a democratic society to spread absolute lies like that and misinformation, and this kind of behaviour is authoritarian dictatorship. It's scary stuff, and I know what he's like. I know we all know what he's like, and we all know he's like the, you know, the crazy man standing on a soapbox, and everyone for some reason chooses to listen to him in some capacity. And I, like many, thought this is an absolute joke when he actually got voted in the first time. I feel like there are obviously valid reasons for that. I think people just wanted something very different, and obviously that's what they got. But it's really turned into something totally crazy. I watched a really interesting BBC documentary on, I think it's literally called The Trump Show, and it was either, was it 3 parts, I think? But they had speakers from both sides, so I feel like it's really important if you're doing this for yourself, like, to read the stuff you don't agree with, to make sure that you are hearing the opposing view. Like, you can still think that is utter BS. However, when it's opinion-based stuff and people's feelings about things, I think it is really important to educate yourself and understand where the other side is coming from, even if it is in order to like dismantle some of those views that they have, or to, you know, be able to use that in another conversation later on. I think if we understand where people are coming from, then there's an easier kind of road to changing their mind if their opinions are bigoted or behaviourally dangerous, I guess, like many of the people that follow Trump are, you know, racist, bigoted people. It's one of those kind of things, and it's really interesting though to hear from a lot of Republicans, a lot of his supporters, also get a succinct timeline of exactly how things happened and all of the stuff that occurred in his presidency. Very, very interesting. Also highly recommend you listen to the podcast Americast. They vary from anywhere from about 15-20 minutes to 45 minutes. Really, really good, educated political journalists. Very, very interesting. Also hearing from several different guests, like lots of various different people with different opinions. And also, if you are from the UK and you are struggling a little bit to understand some of the like American politics and how the system works and stuff, because I feel like it's far more complicated than ours, and I still don't fully understand every part of it at all. But that podcast Americast has been exceptionally helpful in helping me understand how the system works a little bit more. So if you feel like educating yourself, learning a few more bits and pieces about the American political system, and it's also really funny though, that's the other thing. It's not this kind of like history politics lesson that's hard going, it's a very easy listen as well. So highly recommend that. I've said how I feel about Trump. His behaviour is undermining profusely the foundation of a democratic society, and frankly it is disappointing, not surprising but disappointing, to see many Republicans still coming out and towing the line by verbatim just repeating the technically true statement that all legal votes will be counted. Disappointing, but this is not really surprising behaviour because obviously they're going to cover their asses. When someone behaves in a manner that he has, this kind of stuff needs to be called out immediately. What else do we have to talk about? COVID vaccine. So I made a video on my TikTok passionate video. I'm getting to the point, and I don't know whether you guys are as well or not, like I'm getting to the point where I'm incredibly frustrated with the amount of absolute bullshit I am seeing, particularly on Facebook. I think it's very important that you don't misconstrue what I'm saying, because I mean, people pick out the bits they want to hear and get offended by, don't they? But here's my view on the vaccine. I absolutely understand that people are nervous of it because it appears to have been rushed through, and we don't have, and this is factually accurate, we don't have long-term data from this because it hasn't been around long enough. And I get that people are apprehensive, unsure, etc., and that is fine. Whether I disagree with you, if you are medically not exempt, if you choose to not have the vaccine, is kind of besides the point. I do disagree, by the way. I will be having it. I think it's important that the majority of people do. Even if you supposedly, these are the excuses I've seen. I've had people saying, oh, I've got antibodies. Well, there are several different strains. So that may not protect you. And also, obviously, vaccines work because you need the majority of the population to have those in order for herd immunity to kind of protect the rest of the people that absolutely cannot have the vaccine. So that's how it works. Like, that's the science of it. If not enough people don't do this, then it may not, it may not be effective. I know there's lots of ingredients and things people are worried about, but the bottom line is that vaccines work. While I appreciate that everyone is nervous because it's new and it feels very rushed, I'll explain why it's not in a second. The reality is that vaccines do work, and they have saved millions of lives over a number of years. There's lots of different kinds of pieces of information floating about on the kind of vaccine it is. I'm seeing a lot of people saying it's kind of taken from like the SARS vaccine and all this kind of stuff, and the technology's not new, and I'm seeing other people arguing that it is. I'm not a medical professional, but in my personal opinion, vaccines in general are not really new tech. Whether they are slightly different variation of how to do things is besides the point to me. I honestly, wholeheartedly do not believe that the government are going to dish out something that they don't think is safe. There is always a tiny chance that someone could react to a vaccine. I'm aware that parents had healthy babies at one point and now don't because of a vaccine. That happens so rarely. And although I don't feel personally that the government should have control over your body and force you to have any, you cannot deny that there will at least be some form of social consequence for you choosing not to, if you choose not to. I understand people are a bit nervous of it. I understand that people have, their gripes with it. And I personally think that, yes, of course, if you are nervous of those things, ask the questions, but ask medical professionals. Go with the majority view, not the minority that are echoing back your fears at you, because those, there's a small percentage of doctors around the world that seem to be attracting all the Trumplings also, that think that the pandemic is basically a flu still. We know that this is not the case. The majority of scientific evidence and the majority of medical professionals and scientists agree together that it's a pandemic, it's dangerous, it's absolutely a danger to public health, and very different from flu, But there are still a minority, as there always will be, because opinions vary even in the same field, that tiny percentage of people that don't agree. I personally would be listening to the majority, because I feel like that's probably more accurate. If you've got world leaders, most scientists, most doctors, and also obviously medical professionals that I know in my life, being 2 doctors, 2 paramedics and a nurse, I am probably going to use my brain, research myself, look at a lot of information, and also I think trustworthy resources are really important. You shouldn't be getting your information from Vax News Daily or like naturalmedicine.com and all of these things that are not using peer-reviewed large sample size studies, because they're not accurate enough, and as I said, they're not peer reviewed, which is a very important part of making sure the research is legitimate and accurate. It's just, I feel honestly like it's insulting to all of our frontliners and all of the people that have died, the victims, their families. I've had so many people DM me about like, oh, thank you for saying it. I don't feel like I should have to say it, or it should even be a debate. Like, I understand at the end of the day it's your choice to have the vaccine or not, and that's fine, and I respect your decision absolutely wholeheartedly, 100%. There are going to be social consequences. I'd be surprised if you weren't asked if you were going in to have operations and things whether you'd had the COVID vaccine. I'd be surprised if certain businesses wanted to know whether you'd had the COVID vaccine or not, etc, etc. And there probably will be people in your life that are just like, actually no, especially if there are people that are immunocompromised around you and you've chosen not to have the vaccine. I think that's where we're going to have some kind of social issues for people that make that decision. Moving on to the worry about things being rushed through, vaccines normally take years because of a load of red tape and waiting for funding and all of that kind of stuff. If you think about it, you have had a global pandemic. This is world affecting. You have loads and loads of countries, you have the whole world working with all of their medical professionals, scientists, all the testing, all the funding in the world going into one thing at the same time. That is absolutely going to speed up the result. That's just logic. That's just common sense. It's not been rushed through. It takes so long normally because of the aforementioned issues. You know, funding is often a massive, massive deal for things. And that's why normally vaccines take years. This has been a world issue, hence a whole group effort, and hence the much, much quicker results. I see also people talking about Pfizer and lawsuits and all of these kinds of things. I get everyone's concerns with medical pharmaceutical companies. Of course I do. Like, we have all, you can look up all of this stuff. It's public knowledge for a reason. I don't know what you want me to say though, because you take paracetamol, you would take a ventilator if it was offered to you if you did catch COVID. You probably binge drink on the weekends, or you know someone who does. If you're a smoker, if you vape, if you take recreational drugs, you drive a car every day, that has a risk factor. You know, I don't feel like you can necessarily talk about worrying about ingredients and things if you are throwing other things at your body every day and criticizing other people for following the science. I accept that not everyone will agree with me, and that's fine, but that's how I feel about it, and I just thought I'd share that with you. And the whole, like, the conspiracy theories, frankly, at the end of the day, as I said before, absolutely disrespectful. I'm fed up of having text messages or phone calls with my friends and family who I love dearly saying they're exhausted from people's utter bullshit on the internet. It's offensive. There are times where my paramedic Bezzy, you know, people do nice things like give her the coffee that she desperately needs for free, and that's the stuff that gets you through. And then you come home and you see all of this absolute nonsense that you know to be factually inaccurate, and you're exhausted and you put yourself in danger all day despite the fact you have a kid at home. It's not okay. I understand if you choose not to have the vaccine, even though I disagree. However, there is no excuse not to be hand washing, social distancing, abiding by the rules and wearing a mask. There's just no excuse. So yeah, that's how I'm feeling at the moment. I haven't been seeing my boyfriend lately, obviously, because we were in lockdown. Now we're not, but what's frustrating me this week especially though is that there seems to be no recognition for people that are in serious committed relationships who cannot or do not live together currently. You know, I've got to travel a couple of hours to my partner's, or he's got to come here and he's not supposed to be inside my house or come anywhere near me. But I can go shopping and I can't social distance at work, but that's fine. Anyway, so that'll be it for my, I don't know, what should we call this, like COVID catch up or some shit. I would love it if you guys would leave me like your ideas for the channel and all that good stuff, like how you're feeling about the vaccine, whether you are or you aren't gonna get it or not. As I said, like, I may disagree with you for the reasons I've explained, but I absolutely respect everybody's choice regarding their own body, because I don't think it's very helpful to be forcing things on people when it comes to their own like body autonomy. So That's personally where I draw the line. But I do think it's really important to help stamp out the really awful bullshit. So yeah, let me know how you guys are all feeling. I hope you're okay. There will be more vlogs and stuff, but I just wanted to get like more of a chit chatty, like let's talk, catch up with me, a bit political and stuff. Like that's fine if we all have differing opinions. Just as I said, just keep it really respectful in the comments. Like if you are spreading actual misinformation that is pure not okay and disrespectful, as I've explained, which, you know, qualifies as any of the stuff I've discussed today, like, you know, there's a chip in the vaccine, the government wants to track us, that kind of stuff, I'm just going to delete the comment. But if you actually just have like a different valid point to make, or you're worried about a specific concern and you're opening up for others to answer for you, that kind of discussion is very welcome here, and I hope that's what goes on, because we're all weirded out. 2020 has been like, what the hell, like you know, it's like a game of Jumanji. So it's really important that we all stick together and help each other out, and maybe if there are any medical professionals that can answer anyone's questions, that would be great to have you on board. So I love you all very much, and we'll see you in the next one. Keep a lookout for my second Christmas gift guide coming very soon. I'm also going to be doing some like Christmas plant-based baking and stuff over the next few weeks, so keep a lookout for that, because we're just going to see, have a play around with the channel and see what works. I love you loads. Don't forget to follow me on my TikTok, my Instagram, and hit that subscribe button and thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, and I will see you very soon.